ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Friday, October 27th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. We're here until 6 o'clock this evening. We're going to get your text in, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Marshall getting set for Coastal Carolina. That's coming up tomorrow. The Herd on the road for the next couple of weeks. Got App State coming up after that, so looking forward to, hopefully, when the Herd returns home in a few weeks. And, of course, that'll be against Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern getting the win over Georgia State yesterday, the modern-day hate game. And definitely, it was modern-day hate. It felt like modern-day hate all game long, as Georgia Southern did everybody in the Sun Belt a favor, at least in the East Division, got the win over Georgia State 44-27. So now you look at these standings, and, again, this is all a jumble right now. The only thing we know is James Madison. Doesn't matter that they're 4-0. They're not eligible for the championship game, so they can win out. Doesn't matter. Thanks for participating. Georgia State improved to 3-2. I'm sorry, Georgia Southern improved to 3-1. Georgia State dropped to 3-2. So you got Old Dominion sitting there at 3-1. Coastal's at 2-2. Marshall and App State both at 1-2. So the Herd would like to get back in this thing and get the win over Coastal. So Marshall would improve to 2-2. And so what happens here is, if Marshall can win out, I think the scenario here is if Marshall wins out, because Marshall already has that win over Old Dominion. You think Old Dominion is going to stay undefeated? Probably not. I don't see it happening. I think Old Dominion gets beat. And they get beat on Saturday against James Madison. So Old Dominion gets beat. For this to play out, and again, this is going to change, so bear with me here. If Marshall can win out, I think Marshall's got a shot at this thing. Needs some other things to happen, but Marshall's got to win out. Marshall's got to beat Coastal. Marshall's got to beat App State. Marshall's got to beat Georgia Southern for this thing to work. These are things Marshall needs to do. I know you take it one game at a time. Next team up, you know, that's the deal. But you look at the schedule. If you can get the win against Coastal and then App, and you can get the win against Georgia Southern, you can win against South Alabama and Arkansas State, I think this might line up. You'll be all right. You might have a shot at this thing. And, of course, you're going to need some losses ahead of you, obviously. You're going to need Old Dominion to lose. You're going to need maybe Georgia State taking another loss. You're going to need that to happen. But Marshall's got to win out for any crazy scenario to play out, and hopefully the Herd can, and you got to get it started tomorrow. Take it on Coastal Carolina. And, of course, if you didn't make that trip down to Coastal, you are covered. We got you here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We go on the air at 3 o'clock with our pregame coverage. We will be at Giovanni's 20th Street in Huntington for West Virginia and Appalachian Laborers District Council College Football Today. It's presented by Liuna, your workforce solution, WVLDC.org. And I do get paid well to say Liuna correctly. It's part of my contract. You get paid if you say Liuna well. So I'll see you at Giovanni's tomorrow, 3 o'clock, for our pregame coverage. I'm looking forward to it. Woody Woodrum will be there. Christian Palmer will be there. They'll be beside me as we preview this one, and that's where we'll be tomorrow for the pregame. And stick around. You can watch the game at Giovanni's as well. So we'll get your text in this hour. Let's do that at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We're going to hear from Dickie Martin in a few minutes. Ashland in action tonight. The Tomcats will play Simon Kenton, and then we're going into the postseason after tonight. So postseason coming up, but one more week to go in the regular season for the Ashland Tomcats, and that will be Simon Kenton. We also have high school football across the airwaves tonight. Spring Valley will host Parkersburg coming up at 7:30 on our sister station, 92.7 and 98.5 The Planet. And we'll also later on hear from Woody Woodrum as Huntington High takes on St. Albans. That's coming up tonight. We go on the air at 7 right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. So a lot of high school football across the tri-state. We'll wrap it all up tonight after the games are over with high school game night. Depending on when the Huntington High crew ends the broadcast, we'll get on the air as soon as 9:30 with Fred Persinger or a little bit afterwards. But until midnight, we'll have you covered with all the high school scores across the state of West Virginia. And we do that every Friday night right here with high school game night. So, as I mentioned, busy night. We got you covered. Looking forward to it. And, of course, hey, don't forget, there are some other things happening tonight. I don't know if you know this, but the World Series going on tonight. Game 1 is Texas playing host to Arizona. That's 8 o'clock, so I'm sure some of you will be keeping an eye on that one. And number 6, Marshall, I can't believe I'm saying this, number 6, Marshall, trying to snap a 2-game road and 2-game, well, let's call it what it is. It's a 2-game losing streak. They lost on the road, and they come home and they lose that. So number 6, Marshall, taking on Old Dominion tonight. Let's hope that the Herd gets it done there. And, of course, if that's not where your focus will be, you got Marshall Volleyball home this weekend. They've got Coastal Carolina tonight at 6 and tomorrow 1 o'clock at the Henderson Center. So after that's over, after volleyball's over tomorrow, you can head over to Giovanni's for our pregame coverage. And again, that begins at 3 o'clock. We do that every game day when the Herd's on the road at 20th Street Giovanni's. When we continue, we'll hear from Dickie Martin. Later on, I'll have our preview for Marshall and Coastal Carolina, our weekly kickoff. And we'll hear from Woody Woodrum. We'll talk Huntington High. The Highlanders falling for the first time this season. They lose to arch rival Cabell Midland last week, so Huntington High looking to bounce back against St. Albans. We'll talk to Woody about that matchup later on. And, of course, your text, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. So we're all settled, we're all squared away, ready to go, and we'll do it when we continue with the voice of the Ashland Tomcats, Dickie Martin, on today's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Stuck in a state of falling behind, struggling to keep up with kids, finances, insurance, and life? Well, let your State Farm agent help you simplify and get to a better state. With State Farm handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else. More money, too. Adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40%. Help you get ahead. Call an agent today and get to a better state with State Farm. In Huntington, John Garton, 304-525-1116. In Barbersville, Marcia Slater, 304-736-6100. And in Cerrito, Aaron Billups, 304-453-4600.
Metro Community Federal Credit Union has been serving the Huntington community for 70 years and is proud to announce our newest location in Lavalette. We look forward to bringing the residents of Wayne County a modern banking facility, a full range of services, advanced technology, expert financial advice, community involvement, and even a smart coffee kiosk cafe. Learn more about Metro Community Federal Credit Union online at metrocommunityfcu.com. Equal housing lender. Member NCUA.
Giovanni's has great Italian dishes. Spaghetti with meat sauce, lasagna, ravioli, manicotti, and baked lasagna. Giovanni's has the best sandwiches around, from the stromboli, Italian sub, calzones, and their signature Big Red. All dinners will be served with hot garlic bread or Italian rolls. Giovanni's Pizza, fresh, hot, and tasty. Have it delivered right to your door. Giovanni's, the Italian place to be.
For 176 years, it's been a Glockner family tradition to provide excellent customer service. And that tradition continues during Glocktoberfest at every Glockner location, where we're celebrating our past, present, and future. Yes, we celebrate you save with Glockner's lowest live market prices with no payments for 90 days. And we always put people over profit with no hidden fees. It's Glocktoberfest happening now.
We make it easy at Glockner.com.
My name is Ruth Rusi. I'm a retired teacher. I'm 91 years old, and this is how I live United. I say retired, but not really. Once a week, I read books to children as part of United Way's education program. Reading to a child creates links between language and literacy. It creates a bond between grown-up and child. And believe it or not, it prepares them for a better academic future. Oh, we read about frogs and flies and pigs with wings, all sorts of juicy stuff. It's a joy to watch all those little faces. I figure I have the time and they have the need. And I've always believed that if we're not here to help each other, then what are we here for really? My name is Ruth Rusi. I help kids prepare to succeed in school. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Wow, yeah, since the storm, it's been crazy busy for us. We got all kinds of office desks coming in. Here's a fancy one right here. It's missing a leg, but that's all right. Whatever. Washers and dryers from a laundromat. Oh, wow, and check this out. Another deep fryer. And I'm not sure what this doohickey is. Yeah, most businesses weren't ready for a storm like that, but our work's really piling up here at Roberts & Sons Salvage.
What will become of your business after a disaster? Nearly 2/3 of businesses aren't prepared for an emergency, and 40% of businesses that experience a disaster never recover. Make an emergency plan now, before it's too late. For a free online tool that helps you develop an emergency plan to keep your business up and running should disaster strike, visit ready.gov/business. Brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, the American Red Cross, and the Ad Council.
How was your day? What did you do in school? I'm Dale Lee, president of the West Virginia Education Association, and these two simple questions can encourage learning in your home. Showing interest and asking about the school day can help motivate your children and keep them excited about learning. So stay involved, stay curious, and ask specific questions. Student success involves the whole family.
A message from the West Virginia Education Association.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to our Friday edition of the show. Paul Swann, your host here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Still to come, we're going to hear from Dickie Martin. We're going to push him back just a few minutes so we can get him ready, and I mean ready to go, as we've got a big one tonight. Final regular season game for the Tomcats taking on Simon Kenton, and that's happening on our sister station, Cat Sports 93.3 and 1340. We also have Huntington High tonight taking on St. Albans. I feel sorry for St. Albans because you lose to Cabell Midland. If you're Huntington, you were perfect, undefeated. Your dreams of having that undefeated season are gone now, and it's at the hands of your arch rival, your county rival. Yeah, you want to prove yourself. You want to go out, and I feel sorry for St. Albans. So that's coming up tonight. We've got it for you here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. While we wait to try to get Dickie Martin ready to go for our weekly look at the Ashland Tomcats, let's get you set for Marshall's matchup against Coastal Carolina. It's time for the kickoff.
Ladies and gentlemen,
will you take your seats, please?
Here we go.
There's the kickoff.
When Coastal Carolina faces Marshall, their experienced quarterback Grayson McCall likely won't be available due to an injury he sustained in Week 8 against Arkansas State. McCall was taken off the field and transported to the hospital after a significant hit. In his absence, backup quarterback Jared Guest will lead the Chanticleers offense. Marshall coach Charles Huff believes that Coastal Carolina's offense remains potent whether McCall is on the field or not.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't giving respect to the two other quarterbacks, so they played a little bit, and they're actually as athletic, if not, in the same realm of athleticism, so they can run the read option, they can run the read zones, they can run the RPO system. I think what you lose with, a guy like Grayson is just the experience. He's had a lot of snaps. He's played a lot of football. The other guys that played football, not just in this, arena or environment. So you're going to get, in my opinion, you're going to get the same package of plays. What you may not get is the creativity that Grayson, kind of gives you or allows you to have. So what you're going to get is you're going to get more. I think the coaches will do a good job of really saying, what do these two guys do if Grayson can't play? What do these two guys do well? And let's do more of that. So we're expecting the same offensive system. We're expecting the same RPO inside zone.
When speaking with longtime Coastal Carolina play-by-play announcer Joe Cashin, he said that McCall's absence alters the team's offensive dynamics.
And we're not the same. I mean, clearly it's not the same team. I mean, Grayson's at another level in terms of what he brings to this team, both on and off the field. I mean, he's such a tremendous talent at quarterback, has been for 3.5 seasons now. And that's not to say that Jarrett can't get the job done, but I mean, there's just such a comfort level when we have Ken out there running the offense, the things that he can do, his experience, how he just knows how to get the ball to the guys in the right space, right? I mean, he knows how to do that, and he did it in the last offense, and he was really kind of picking this one up, too, the last couple of games. I mean, he was off the charts.
Regardless of McCall's status, Marshall is preparing for Coastal Carolina as if he will still be the starting quarterback, according to Thundering Herd linebacker Eli Neal.
You got to prepare like he's playing. Obviously, you can't turn a blind eye to somebody that's been like the poster child for the Sun Belt the last 3 years. So we definitely preparing like he's playing. Whether or not, we know that this offense can be explosive, whether he's playing or not. They got a bunch of different guys that can make plays at the receiver position, at running back, and got some key guys. So we definitely got our work cut out for us this week.
Huff anticipates that Coastal will continue to employ similar offensive strategies, but with adjustments tailored to guest skill set and that of the other available quarterbacks.
Right, everybody else is running some type of RPO, some type of read zone, some type of inside-outside zone. It's how you package them with the players you have. I think one thing that they do have a very good wide receiver unit. You know what I mean? So there's some areas where they can stress you with speed, some areas where they can stress you. They got, number 15 is a very big human. You know what I mean? So you talk about jump balls in the red zone, you talk about go balls, him having the physical stature to kind of overshadow most DBs. That gives you some options. So we're expecting similar schemes.
While McCall and the Coastal Carolina offense receive a lot of attention, their defense often goes unnoticed. The Chanticleers are ranked second in FBS and first in the Sun Belt in defensive touchdowns with 3, and they are holding opposing teams to just under 23 points per game. This is a unit that Cashin has observed improving over time.
We brought some size in over on the defensive side of the ball because we had to. We brought some guys in on the back end because we had to. We brought some guys in on the defensive front. And we have played pretty good defense. I think we've gotten better there this season. Last week at Arch State, we're kicking a field goal up 7 in the fourth quarter, putting it over on our defense. Say, hey, look, we're going to take a 10-point lead here. We need you to hold on to this lead. And that's what they did, that's what they did. They've gotten better. We've gotten stopped when we needed to. Now, we haven't caused the turnovers lately. We got 2 the other night at Arch State. We haven't caused the turnovers lately that we did in the first 3 games, but we're getting stops. And that's really what football is kind of about, right? It's an offensive game. What you want your defense to do is, string a couple, 2 or 3 stops at key points of the ball game, and that's what our guys have been able to do with the size that we've gotten, the strength, more depth through the portal. We've gotten better on that side.
Thundering Herd offensive lineman Ethan Driscoll is impressed with the Chanticleers' aggressive play when defending against the offense.
They have a really good front 7, pretty fast, athletic D-line, hard-hitting linebackers. I think they're really talented up front. I think we have a pretty good matchup this week.
According to Marshall tight end Cade Conley, Coastal Carolina has playmakers, so their offense needs to step up and make plays.
They play extremely hard. That's the first thing that jumped out to me on film. They got a lot of guys that can make plays, so we just got to be able to keep our blocks going and make plays for our O-line who's got to play better as long as, we make plays.
Huff sees the Coastal Carolina defense as a stout unit that aims to outperform their opponents. they think that their guys are better than yours.
Yeah, you know what? I think the one kind of the underline, and they do get a lot of credit to the offense because of, their players. But defensively, I think they're very stout in the core. I think their linebackers are big, physical guys that play downhill. They strike. I think their D-line is mobile. They've got some length on the edge, and I think their DBs are extremely athletic. So what that does is they play a lot of coverage that basically puts it one-on-one, and your player on my player, you got to make a play, which when you play that type of defense, you're saying my player is as good or if not better than yours, and he's going to use his technique, and our guys got to kind of use their technique, and you see a lot of one-on-one wins by their defense. So that's kind of the strength that they have. I think with them being so strong in the core, it limits some of the variance that you see, on the perimeter, because you got to block those big linebackers and D linemen in the core. So again, I think they kind of probably get overshadowed some, not by any means needed or necessary, but when you have a player like Grayson, who's been 3-time conference player of the year and done some of the things that he's done, a lot of the attention goes that way. They lost some guys from last year, but they've also replaced and brought back some guys who are playing at a high level.
And that's our kickoff. Marshall, Coastal Carolina, tomorrow, 3 o'clock airtime here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We'll get your text in when we continue. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Check out Working Man's Store in Huntington, the biggest inventory of scrubs in West Virginia, featuring brands such as Medcouture, Infinity, Dickies, and Cherokee at the best price. Working Man's Store has one of the largest selections of big and tall shirts, jackets, and jeans in the area. Working Man's Store is the king of blue jeans with Levi's, Dickies, Carhartt, Lee, and Wranglers in sizes up to 72. And Working Man's Store has the best selection of men's work boots and casual shoes anywhere at the best price. Working Man's Store, open every day at 145th Avenue, Huntington.
Hey, Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. If you were a sports fan, we have what you need, from the Sunday ticket for the NFL, college football, Major League playoffs, and more. Listen up, Tri-State. If you are a first responder, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials we have just for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza next to Fratelli's. Check us out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Stalwart Insurance is the name for insurance in the Tri-State. They are committed to delivering tailored benefit solutions with thoughtful, strategic planning with valuable professional services. Stop by or call Stalwart Insurance for your homeowner's insurance needs. Stalwart Insurance is located right beside Kitty Queen Hardware on Route 10 in Barbersville. Call Stalwart Insurance anytime at 304-552-3883. That's 304-552-3883. Or visit them online at stalwartinsurance.com.
Dad, this is fun. I didn't think I'd like kayaking.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I think it's time to head back in.
Okay. Can we come back?
Sure.
Tomorrow?
Let's check with Mom. Hey, be careful getting out of the boat.
It's a kayak, Dad.
I'm gonna return the kayak. Just make sure you have everything.
Yep. Can we walk home?
How about a taxi? 233 North Maple, please.
It's a short fare from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Also, find fun activities to do like boating and biking or camping and hiking, plus much more. It's all right in your naturehood.
Best day ever.
A public service announcement brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Hey, there he is. How's it going?
I'm having a stroke.
Are you going to shake my hand or what?
I'm having a stroke.
Wow, you're not even moving your arm.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you okay?
I'm having a stroke.
Your face looks weird, too.
I'm having a stroke.
Are you having a seizure or something?
I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear.
I'm having a stroke.
You just need to know the sudden signs. Look for FAST, F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. Or S, speech difficulty. Then T, time. Time to call 911 immediately, because the sooner they get to the hospital, the sooner they'll get treatment. And that can make a remarkable difference in their recovery. Know the sudden signs: face, arm, speech, time. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
Charlie died after taking a single pill that turned out to be counterfeit.
He was having back issues, and it was a counterfeit poisonous pill.
Websites and social media selling fake medicines may look legitimate, but they're not. Drugs from these rogue pharmacies could have fillers like sawdust or deadly fentanyl.
He died in less than 15 minutes after taking the pill.
Now there's a free tool that can give you peace of mind. At safe.pharmacy, enter the pharmacy web address, and you'll know if the site you're using is safe.
If you're not getting your prescriptions from a legitimate source, that next dose you take could be your last.
We just don't want other people to go through what we're going through. It's just horrific.
Go to safe.pharmacy. Find out about fake medicine on social media and if the site you're buying from is safe.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
We continue on with our Friday edition, The Drive, on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Final regular season contest tonight for the Ashland Tomcats. Playing host is Simon Kenton. Longtime voice of the Ashland Tomcats, Dickie Martin, joins us now for a preview. And playoffs are right around the corner, Dickie, but we got one more to go before we get into the playoffs.
Yes, sir. We got to finish out the regular season on a high note, and hopefully we can do that tonight with facing a pretty good football team. Simon Kenton, they're from Northern Kentucky, and they play they're a 6A school. They got probably about twice as many students as we do, so they're a big school, and they've had a good football program for years, and we're going to have to play a little football tonight. I'm anxious to see how our kids bounce back after that game last week where, you know, in all intents and purposes, we should have won, but should-have ain't going to get it done.
Was that the most adversity you think this team has seen? And honestly, you don't want to lose any of them, but was that a good thing?
No, I don't think it was a good thing. I really don't. It woke up a couple of the guys on onside kick, I can tell you that. You got to be ready at all times for an onside kick, and they weren't. And that proved to be the difference in the game because they couldn't stop us. Of course, we couldn't stop them, but we were just trailing by a point when they did the onside kick. And, I feel certain we could have taken it in for a score. Now they're playing catch up, but that's not the way it happened. So I'm anxious to see how it goes tonight.
The opponent tonight, Simon Kenton. So this is the last regular season game before the playoffs. The good thing is Ashland's in the postseason, so there's no worries there. You're not playing for anything other than, computer rankings and things of that sort of nonsense. But the opponent tonight, what can we expect from this matchup with Simon Kenton?
Well, they're totally different from what we saw last week with Johnson Central. Johnson Central, had, I think, 75 or 80 rushing plays, and they threw it once. This team is more balanced. They like to throw it. They like to run it. Coach Tackett compares them to George Washington, and because they're about 50-50 the way GW plays, and GW had a good football team, still has a good football team. So it's a totally different approach. We won't have to, we didn't stack the box like maybe we should have last week. I don't know. But we missed some key assignments and some key reads. And that's why they were able to grind out 350 yards on the ground. So we can play our normal, three-man front and blitz occasionally and do all that kind of good stuff. And our defense has just got to get better. That's all there is to it, Paul. If we don't play any better defense than we have been, we're not going to go very far. I'll tell you that right now.
Simon Kenton, the opponent tonight for the Ashland Tomcats. Dickie Martin's with us, longtime voice of the Tomcats, and we've got that game for you tonight on our sister station, Cat Sports 93.3 and 1340. And then after that, playoffs begin. What do we know about the playoff picture?
Well, we're going to play Harrison County next Friday night at home. They're a mediocre football team at best. They come out of that other district that we would be playing, and we played them several times over the years. And quite honestly, here lately, we haven't had much trouble with them in the playoffs. They're 5-4 right now, and they got a game tonight. Longtime coach Ray Graham down there. So it's we know what they're going to do. They're kind of similar to Johnson Central. They like to run the football. They don't throw it very much, but they don't have quite the athletes or the size that Johnson Central has. So, in all honesty, it's a game Ashland should win next week and move on into the second round.
Well, if they should win it, how do you keep this team focused on going out and winning it? You know how these are young men we're talking about here, but they're still kids.
Oh, I know that.
So
I know that. That's why I'm anxious to see how they bounce back tonight after a loss last week. You know, will they come ready to play and ready to, show their stuff like they did over the first 8 weeks, or are they going to lollygag around and let Simon Kenton play with them the whole game and, maybe even beat them? So I'm anxious to see how the kids bounce back. They've got, they have 16 seniors going out tonight. And so this is senior night. And so I'm sure those guys want to go out on a winning note. And it's not good to go into the playoffs, with a couple of losses on your, and riding a 2-game losing streak. I think Ashland needs this one tonight. I really do.
You think the open week hurt them a little bit? Maybe a little too much time? Sometimes you can have too much time.
No, not really. I don't think so. They had plenty of time to prepare and get ready. They missed some key assignments, missed some key reads, and that silly onside kick. They just didn't pay attention to what was going on.
Dickie Martin with us. And again, the call tonight on our sister station, it's Cat Sports 93.3 and 1340. We'll go on the air at 7 o'clock. You can listen to the game on the air or on our website at catsports933.com. Dickie, of course, loves telling Alexa to listen to the radio station. So you can
That's right.
You can get the
Alexa.
Your favorite thing to do. Your favorite thing to do.
I love it.
You like telling her what to do, and then, of course...
And you know what?
What?
She obeys. She obeys. That's probably one of the few women in the whole wide world that obeys what I say. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. Dickie Martin with us here. Not obeyed by many, but by the Echo device. No. So you can listen to it that way, or you can also get the app. And you can get the link to the app on our website, catsports933.com, as people from far away will be listening to this stream tonight. And Tomcat fans all across the country will be tuning in.
Oh, yes, they do.
What's the furthest you've heard from?
Korea.
Korea, absolutely Korea.
South Korea.
South Korea. I kind of figured that South Korea. I don't know if there are many Tomcat fans in North Korea.
I guess it was a guy. I've heard from people in Hawaii, former Tomcats, that played for the Ashland Tomcats, football or basketball or alumni or whatever. They're, some of them most of them are in the military that are far away that I hear from. And then I've got, I have a lot of fans down in Florida for some reason, and a lot of crazy people in Texas that like to listen. So there you go.
Well, Florida is a very popular destination during the winter months, Dickie. That's why you're probably getting a lot of Tomcats.
Yes, it is. I would agree with you. It's very, very popular. I agree.
And Texas, Texas is pretty big, so I'm not surprised there are Tomcats fans in Texas.
There you go.
It's big. It's not as big as Alaska, but it's big.
It's big, by golly.
So we'll have the game for you tonight, and of course, you'll be back on the air with the playoffs next week. So next week,
I'll be there.
You got to win to keep going on. So this is the last time.
Got it.
This is the last time you're guaranteed a following week.
That's exactly right. No more losses after tonight, by golly, and they really need to win this one tonight. They need to get their mindset and get some confidence and feel good about themselves going into the playoffs.
We'll have it for you tonight again on our sister station, Cat Sports 93.3 and 1340. Hey, don't forget, since you've got millions of people tuning in, and I don't know if it's actual millions, but it's a pretty large audience tonight.
Yes, it's not millions, but I think we're in the thousands anyway.
Yeah, remind them they can tune in at 5:06 over here every day. Tell the people.
Okay, I'll do that, by golly.
Tell
How
the
about
people.
that?
Yes, tell the people, and they can hear you next Friday.
Tell the people.
Tell the people.
I'm telling you, tell the people.
That's Dickie Martin. Thanks, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Paul, for having me on. Appreciate it.
That's Dickie Martin, everyone, the voice of the Tomcats. He'll have the game tonight. It'll be against Simon Kenton, and you can listen to it on Cat Sports 93.3 and 1340. We'll cover more high school football across the tri-state. Woody Woodrum when we continue on tonight's edition of The Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Light up your workspace and get 11% off everything at Menards. Now you can tackle your automotive needs at any time of day with a 10,000 lumen LED work light from Smart Electrician. It's portable, super bright, and weather resistant. Save big money and get one today for $49.99 after 11% rebate at Menards. Good through October 29th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Now is the time to add on a new bathroom or remodel your old one with the latest up-to-date bathroom fixtures from Mutual Wholesalers, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Come in today to Mutual Wholesalers' beautiful showroom and see how your new bathroom will look. Check out Acre by Max. Have a new bathroom this year. Mutual Wholesalers, locally owned and operated, 710 5th Street, Huntington. Call 304-525-9118.
Stalwart Insurance is the name for insurance in the tri-state. They are committed to delivering tailored benefit solutions with thoughtful, strategic planning with valuable professional services. Stop by or call Stalwart Insurance for your homeowner's insurance needs. Stalwart Insurance is located right beside Kenny Queen Hardware on Route 10 in Barbersville. Call Stalwart Insurance anytime at 304-552-3883. That's 304-552-3883. Or visit them online at stalwartinsurance.com.
Imagine this. It's a chilly winter morning. It snowed a little overnight. You think to yourself, is my car ready for this? There are multiple steps you could take to see if your car is ready for winter. Or one simple one. Have the pros at TikTok Tire make sure your car is ready for winter. They'll check your battery, tires, fluids, wipers, and hoses. Don't get caught out in the cold this winter. Give the pros at TikTok Tire a call and they'll be happy to answer any questions. Winterize your car at TikTok Tire, 2102 3rd Avenue, Huntington. Call today for your appointment at 304-525-7831.
Hey, Tri-State, Frank's Place is where friends hang out with friends. Stop on by for happy hour from 4 to 6 p.m. and a lot of daily specials. If you were a sports fan, we have what you need, from the Sunday ticket for the NFL, college football, Major League playoffs, and more. Listen up, Tri-State, if you are a first responder, stop by Frank's Place and check out the specials we have just for you. Frank's Place, located at the River Place Plaza next to Fratelli's. Check us out on Facebook for weekly updates and specials. Frank's Place, your home away from home.
Do you need a superhero that will help you overcome substance abuse? You'll marvel at how the Infinity Center can help you be your own hero. The Infinity Center has licensed professionals that are compassionate and caring. Located at 340 17th Street in Ashland and 500 Main Street in South Shore, the Infinity Center is accepting new patients. Your situation is not hopeless. The Infinity Center will help you get your life back. Contact the Infinity Center in Ashland or South Shore for help to be your own hero.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to our Friday edition, The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We're going to hear from Woody Woodrum in just a few moments. We'll get him connected, and we'll talk Huntington High. Highlanders losing last week to Cabell Midland, first loss of the regular season for the Highlanders. It's been a long time since the Highlanders have actually lost a game. That's something we haven't talked about, so we'll try to connect with Woody here in just a moment. And I do believe we do now have Woody Woodrum on the phone as the Highlanders are getting set for St. Albans tonight. Is it fair to say I hate to be St. Albans tonight after Huntington lost last week to Cabell Midland?
Well, yeah, there's that.
but there are some other things going on behind the scenes that we can break out here exclusively on the show.
We'll take it. Let's do it.
For Huntington, we've got a couple players who are going to set tonight. Zaw Jackson, who's the leading rusher with nearly 500 yards, and he's the leading scorer as well on the team. He is going to set out along with Deedrick Graves, and you'll hear Billy talk about them in the pregame show, how they're both banged up a little bit, as running backs often get. And to be honest, I mean, I think Huntington thinks they can win this game, and so they're going to give those guys a chance. Also, two players are gone for the rest of the season due to injury. Christian Saunders had come back at defensive end and even put on 57 to play some on offensive, defensive line if they needed him, but he only lasted 2 games before he re-injured his shoulder. So he is done for the rest of his career. He's a senior, and so is Dwayne Harris, the outstanding receiver who came down from South Charleston last year along with Jamari Tubbs, and he's a leader with 17 catches, 291 yards, 6 touchdowns. He also leads with 6 interceptions. He's been an outstanding player from day one when he showed up, but his leg was hurt badly, and he missed both the Parkersburg and Midland games, and unfortunately is done for the rest of the season. So, you hate that for any kid that gets their season cut short their senior year. And so Huntington's got, a couple out, but they're pretty sound. Except for that, of course, Harris being gone, they may have to juggle the secondary a little bit. And Tavion Chandler started the last 2 games at corner. We might see some Khalif Ty at corner, though, which is where the Wiz played last year. And Mikey Johnson might even be joined by the quarterback, Avante Crawford, who was a first-team All-Mountain State Athletic Conference last year as a safety. And they were trying to save him from going both ways. But I look for him to play a little bit tonight as they try to get their team set for the game next week against Hurricane that will probably decide who finishes in the top 4 as far as between the Huntington and the Hurricane and maybe even Cabell Midland, who's all open this week and then has one more game to play.
And that's important because nobody wants to travel in the playoffs. You get number 1, you're number 2, you're fine until championship game if you make it that far. And, of course, we got to keep an eye on one of the top teams in the state, and Martinsburg as well, because we all know traveling to Martinsburg doesn't matter if you're Huntington, Cabell Midland, Spring Valley. It's very difficult. We've seen some of the best teams in the southern half of the state travel and die up there, just die on the field, and come back home with nothing. And so you're trying to at least get yourself in the spot where you're playing host if you would get a Martinsburg that late to the championship.
Yeah, right now I believe they're 8th overall. They've still got a couple games to play, too. Jefferson's pretty good up that way, too, this year. So both of them will be in a playoff mix. And, of course, they both had to come to Huntington in the past couple of years. So, and Huntington got the win against Martinsburg that he couldn't get in 2 tries previously up at Wheeling. Of course, a 9-7 heartbreaker 2013, and then the big loss in 21, but they kind of evened that up with the win last year. So, every team gets injuries this time of year. We saw Marshall lose Rashid Ali last year, and he was around for the last 3 games, and he certainly helped the Herd to get a bowl victory and to finish with 9 wins. And they were hoping that Saunders could come back and maybe go all the way, but he just not able to. And Harris probably would do anything to come back. And you have to be careful with kids. And, it's one of the things that Coach Huff has talked about this week. J.J. Roberts is out. He's in the concussion protocol. Got hit really hard. He's 21, 22 years old. You hope he lives a long life, and you don't want to do something that might impair that. So, he said he's out, and he's out. And, and yet Marshall has left to still guess about McCall, the outstanding quarterback. I think he's in his 15th year there at Coastal Carolina. And
he's been around the Coastal Carolina program longer than you've been at the Marshall program. That's how long he's been there.
When the Chanticleer was a chick, he was already there. So, he's been a huge part of their success down there in Conway. And I know there'll be a bunch of Marshall fans down there hopefully enjoying the same kind of weather we're supposed to have here, sunny and 87 or something tomorrow. And the Herd with a big game. But, it's a big game for Huntington because they need a bounce-back game, and they need to figure out if some of those kids can play tonight, if they have to move them around for the last regular season game and then for the playoffs. So I think there'll be a lot of things that they'll take away in the film. But St. Albans, on the other hand, got their big win last week. They finally beat somebody and beat South Charleston, who has not won this entire season. But then the PA man, as we were sharing some information with him about Huntington, told us that the Devin Silvas, the top running back, a sophomore here, decided to quit today with 8 days left in the season. So who knows? I mean, I don't know if he thought he'd be injured against Huntington or Spring Valley next week at the Valley, or what, or somebody's got in his ear about transferring somewhere. Who knows? But they lose their best running back coming off the big win last week, 28-6 over South Charleston. They were very opportunistic. They got some turnovers last week, and that was a big part of their win. So it's tough enough when they're fairly short-handed to begin with, and now they lose one of their key pieces tonight.
Woody Woodrum's with us tonight. Huntington High taking on St. Albans. We've got it for you right here. 7 o'clock airtime on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Do you think that Billy Seals, going through the schedule and as efficient as this team has been for the most part with the ones and then putting the twos in, would he have done something differently knowing what he knows now? If he had an opportunity to go back, would he have played the starters longer? Would he have taken them out sooner? What would he have done differently maybe to kind of avoid what happened last week if he could have?
Well, I don't think, the team just didn't show up in the first half. And I know Coach Haff has had that problem with his team, so has Neil Brown at WVU. What is it that makes teams come out of the gate hot and fast? Who knows? And Midland hit a couple of big plays early and had them back on their heels. And, of course, then Huntington in the second half charged back to within 24-21. And the fake punt call by the quarterback was probably the key to the win because they held on to the ball for 8 minutes, scored the final touchdown, and gave Huntington no time to even think about trying to attempt to come back. So, games sometimes swing on one play. I think the initial play with Curtis Jones going 64 yards certainly took Huntington by complete surprise, and then they scored on the very next possession, and we're up 14-0 before most people had settled into their seats. So, the Huntington kids have a bad taste in their mouth. St. Albans kids were feeling pretty good, but now both of them are dealing with, lost teammates for one reason or another. And knowing that the season is about to end, they certainly both would like to come out of here with a win tonight.
And we'll have it for you. It's coming up again, 7 o'clock right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930 as the Highlanders trying to bounce back after losing to arch rival Cabell Midland last week. The Knights have the night off, and then everybody don't look too far ahead, but we got Huntington and Hurricane next week. But we got to get past St. Albans first before we can talk about that. Should be a fun one, and I hope that this team, like Ashland lost to Johnson Central last week, will be able to come back, rebound, and maybe show us a truer version of what the team's about. Because like last week in Ashland's case, could have won that game, made some mistakes. Huntington, on the other hand, their best quarter was that fourth quarter, but it was too little too late. So looking forward to it tonight.
Yeah,
let's see. Yeah, let's find out.
And one other thing, congratulations to Huntington Middle. The Hawks beat the Milton Panthers last night in the Cabell County Middle School Championship, 18-14. It was a fun game to call, and I did a little PA for them there, and it was enjoyable. Great crowd there last night too, on a perfect night for football. So those are the kids that'll be playing for Midland and Huntington in a couple of years. So as I said, it was a fun ball game. Midland missed on a fourth and 4 to go. Pass to the end zone. It looked like the receiver maybe gave up on the route before he should have, and the ball just went over his head. So that one went down the last play. They're hoping tonight that it will be a bit more comfortable margin-wise.
And nobody's colors match the schools are going to. Nobody's colors match.
Yeah, that's right.
What is it, like Hawks or what? Like what are they? Are they red?
Black and gold.
Black and
it's
gold.
Like watching Southern Miss play.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay. So they're black and gold. It's like
Appy State, Southern Miss. Yeah, the Hawks.
Okay, I mean, hey,
I guess
go Hawks.
And the Milton Panthers. And you can't believe how many times I almost called them the Milton Greyhounds.
Your age is showing. You know that.
Yes, that's exactly right.
That's okay. You know what? It's a blessing to get to your age. And I hope I get there one day soon.
All right, man.
Woody Woodrum, thanks, buddy. Good talk to you.
All right.
More coming up later on with Huntington High taking on St. Albans. We go on the air at 7 o'clock. We'll have it for you right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. And don't forget, tomorrow, Huntington High, hopefully with the victory. Ashland with the victory. We can talk about Marshall and Coastal Carolina. We do that 3 o'clock airtime. We'll do that on 93.7 The Dog as well as right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. West Virginia and Appalachian Laborers District Council College Football today. Presented by Liona, your workforce solution, WVLDC.org. We'll be live at Giovanni's 20th Street here in Huntington for tomorrow's pregame. And hopefully, if you're going to Marshall Volleyball tomorrow, keep this in mind. Go to Marshall Volleyball. Herds in action tomorrow, taking on Coastal Carolina, 1 o'clock at the Henderson Center. Go cheer on Ari Agnes and her squad. And then after that's over, roll over to Giovanni's. Get it to go if you like. Get your pizza to go. Wave at us. Say hi. We'll be there from 3 to 4 for our show. Come say hi to us. Get yourself a pizza. And then, if you don't have a place to eat that pizza, eat it there. Get ready for the game. Or take it home and get ready for the game. 6 o'clock. We'll have it for you here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm looking forward to it tomorrow. It's going to be fun. Absolutely going to be fun. And, of course, I hope that the volleyball team gets the sweep of Coastal Carolina. That'd be a great way to start the weekend. A win tonight against Coastal at volleyball, and then a win tomorrow to sweep. And then, of course, let's hope that the soccer team gets the win. They're at Old Dominion. That's coming up tonight at 7 o'clock. So I'm hoping that we get a few wins here between now and Sunday. Unfortunately, we didn't get a win for the women yesterday. Soccer fell to Louisiana 1-0. So the Herd ends the season with a 7-9-1 record. They had a great start. Unfortunately, injuries did not help the team. I hope this team bounces back next year. But 7-9-1, not bad. Let's hope that volleyball now can progress on, and then we can get Marshall men's soccer off the losing track. Number 6. Can't believe I'm saying that. Number 6. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks for tuning in. I'll be back with you on Saturday at Giovanni's 20th Street for our pregame coverage. It all gets underway with West Virginia Appalachian Laborers District Council College Football today. Presented by Liona, your workforce solution, WVLDC.org. Have a great weekend, everyone.